Hello, my fellow classmates. My name is Charity Balmer, and I just wanted to share just an insight of my personal views of congruence and the dispositions that we have went over for the past few weeks. So my understanding of congruence, as I went over and read over and observed and studied, is just the implementation of basically implementing and or, for lack of better words, applying, I like the word implementation more, all ethical codes, accreditation standards, and institutional facility policies into your work ethics and into your services as a professional working in clinical mental health counseling, specifically for this area and aspect. So I believe that the congruence is just taking all those and bringing it together and applying and implementing in the services that we render to the clients that are coming in and seeking for assistance. And if we look into it, I was very moved by the ACA Code of Ethics, section F6 and also F8. F6 implemented on the counseling, supervisory, evaluation, remediation, and endorsement. That one right there, I was so moved by that because I do believe that even as regardless if you're the supervisor or if you're the student like ourselves, I believe that the supervisor has to implement these dispositions, have to implement these codes and conducts and standards and policies into their services, even being rendered to us, because we're looking at them as an example, and we're looking up to them as the example of how to be a successful and very impactful clinical mental health counselor. So I really believe that right there has a lot of weight, because we do look up to others who may have had the resume and the experience as an example. Most women don't look at another woman. You don't just hear another woman have a baby and take it to the bank. A lot of times you want to see and know specifically in details what happened. So you know how this will work in your area. So we feel like that when it comes to the counseling supervisory. They have to implement that when they evaluate us, with knowing, just like they're giving it to the patients, they need to be able to give it to us. No impartiality. They got to be able to give the relationship. They got to be able to implement and express growth, and they got to be able to be sensitive. They got to be able to do the same thing, even through the remediation and even in the endorsement. On the other side as well, I believe that that's good with the student welfare, because when we learn how to apply these dispositions, we see it being implied by those over us that are supervising us. They are going to push for us to work on our student welfare. And because we're building up our student welfare, we'll be able to take this same motivation and impact and apply it to the services that we give to the clients when we get out into the client population. And I really believe that is very important. The importance of all 10 of these professional dispositions that we went over: engagement, accountability, discipline, sensitivity, impartiality, growth, awareness, relationships, communication, and congruence. That right there is very, very important, because it is these dispositions that keep your services as a clinical mental health counselor, I believe, aligned. These dispositions is what keeps you on track of taking care of not only just the patient's issue, but taking care of the patient and reaching those who may actually also want some work and some help themselves. And then it also helps with reaching out to somebody and making sure that they are also addressing all different aspects, more than just the issue. Their complete wellness is taken care of. If you lack that, I do believe you will only address the one issue that comes, and then you don't get to the root of it, which means they're going to have to come back over and over again for assistance, which is no problem. I love what I do, but you want to be able to take as much care of them right then than having them run back and forth if it's not mandatory. I do intend to monitor myself in these dispositions by looking at myself daily. I will make sure that I do several work processes going into when I'm dealing with patients to make sure that I'm on top, to make sure that I am able to do the best I can to improvise and implement these dispositions into my services as a licensed clinical mental health counselor. Lastly, my regards with congruence in the classroom, especially when you're going for your license and certification requirements, means just make sure that you read and comprehend all the policies, all the accreditation standards, and all the code of ethics, and apply accordingly. Do not try to cut nothing. Do not try to go around nothing. It's not going to work. I just believe that if you just focus, you study and comprehend and focus on that as you work along, it will be implemented and it will be embedded into your work as a student, and it will come out even greater as a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I do thank you for tuning in. You have a great day. Bye-bye.